Programming jobs are amazing. They earn high salaries, have the option to often work from home and do interesting work. But times are scary. AI is here. Should you still learn how to code? That's the question. Honestly, no. If you take random courses and follow old advice, you're gonna waste your time, you're not gonna get anything. But honestly, yes, if you take top courses from DataCamp and Coursera that actually teach in-demand new skills that employers are actually paying for, that are future-proof even with AI. I'm gonna show you the 6 best ones right now, even for beginners. So let's begin. First up is Python Data Fundamentals. Now, Python is literally the #1 skill for data jobs for software engineers. I'm not just making that up. This website actually analyzed millions of job listings on LinkedIn, Indeed, etc. And Python was actually found to be the #1 skill in demand. Now, the best part is that Python is pretty easy to learn. You don't need to, learn complicated syntax. You don't need weird rules. Python is kind of beginner friendly and just makes sense. But still, one big problem that people face when learning Python is they learn the wrong way. They take a generic course, they spend a few weeks on it, and then they give up and they quit because there's so much to learn and it just feels overwhelming. I've been there myself in many things that I've started to learn. Instead, focus on the most useful things, and this includes working with data. Any programmer should know this, whether you're a data scientist or a software engineer. And that is why I love this course and I recommend it. But also, guys, don't just take my word for it. I'm just a random guy on the internet. I listen to the facts. This course has over 350,000 students and a 4.7 rating, which is pretty good. And it's also recently updated, which is very important in the age of AI when things are updating and changing so quickly. Now, the course is only going to take you about 28 hours, but it's very, very efficient. And I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but I've handpicked the best stuff. So it begins with an introduction to Python, what it is, how it works, etc. And then it moves on to some more intermediate Python, a little bit harder, and then a project with Python, of course, because DataCamp focuses a lot on actually practical learning, which is the key. I always say this, and it really is. You can spend months or years watching videos, or you can spend a few weeks practicing, and I think the second option is a little bit better for most people. You'll definitely get better results. Now, the projects here are pretty interesting too. There's one about Netflix movies and movie data, and one about analyzing crime in Los Angeles, which, there's plenty of crime to analyze. And I'll give this course, let's say, a final score of 8 out of 10, as always. The next step is going to be IBM Full Stack Developer. Now, these IBM courses have been getting a lot of hate recently, to be honest. Courses that teach a lot of programming languages all in one and introduce you to a lot of different things are like very broad programming courses. Because nowadays it seems like a lot of people prefer to, focus on one skill or one job in the course. And look, I totally get it. I talk about it all the time. Specialization is the key to success. If you, want to get really good at something, you have to give other things up and actually focus and do it. But here's the problem and why I hate this mentality, right? So for programming, the problem is that AI is scary. Everything is changing pretty quickly. And if you're just focusing on one language or one small thing, you're absolutely screwed when the time is up. Now, this course by IBM is going to give you an introduction to everything. If you're like a super advanced programmer, this is not for you. But if you're a beginner, it's one of the best things that you can do. It begins with an introduction to software engineering, then cloud computing, front-end development, making apps and websites, back-end development, lots of different programming languages, blah, 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 databases, AI, everything. And no, this course is not perfect, but it will probably not, get you a job, because for that, yes, you do need to specialize in something and, learn a little bit more to become valuable. But it gives you a very good idea of the whole programming development space. So you can find your passion, you can learn a little bit of this, a little bit of that, find your area and understand the whole field as a whole. I think it's a really good place to start. So 7.5 out of 10 is my score. The next step is going to be R Programming Fundamentals from DataCamp. And R is another programming language often compared to Python. It's not perfectly similar, but it's a little bit similar. And honestly, in my opinion, Python is better, at least for most people. But for some people, R is the best programming language to learn in 2026, and I'm going to explain why. If you want to be in, let's say, academia or research, R is often used. But I get it. Most of us don't want to be in academia or research. We just want to get a job. We don't care about all the details. So if we look at the FAQ section, it says, which jobs will benefit from this track, from learning R. And a track is just DataCamp's name for a collection of courses, by the way, kind of like a professional certificate on Coursera. And it says this track is most suitable for those looking to start a career in data science, such as data analysts, data scientists, and software engineers. And yes, it is not as common as Python, but that also means that you can stand out. It opens you up to other opportunities that specifically look for skills in this language. And when the job market looks the way it does right now, anything that we can do to stand out is worth it. Now, this course is only 22 hours and has over 160,000 students, and it begins with an introduction to R, including how it works and what it is. Then it goes on to some intermediate stuff, and if you already know how to program or how to code, it's gonna feel like a breeze. You can just transfer over things from Python and other languages, like loops, conditional statements, and all that fun stuff. And then of course, number 3 is gonna talk about writing efficient code. You write, good code, not just code. And then of course, writing functions to reuse code, and some things about object-oriented programming and different programming paradigms in general too. And so in the end, there's going to be a skill assessment. You can get a certificate that you can put on your resume, your LinkedIn, or wherever you want. And you may want to slam it on your wall and just stare at it in the morning for motivation. I don't judge. So 7.5 out of 10, just because I prefer Python myself. All right, next up is Java Programming and Software Engineering Fundamental Specialization from Duke University on Coursera. Did you catch all of that? Yeah, it's a pretty long name, but it's pretty simple actually. So you're going to learn the basics of programming, software engineering, and also a little bit focusing on the Java programming language. That's it. But why on earth would you learn Java in 2026? A language that's been around since 1995, that's over 30 years, created by Oracle. Well, here's why it's still kind of worth it. So over 90% of Fortune 500 companies use some sort of Java in their applications. That's a crazy number, 90% of Fortune 500 companies. Because Java is powering a lot of the heavy systems, the large enterprise applications, finance, healthcare, e-commerce. It's in a lot of systems basically. And yes, there are lots of other exciting new programming languages and all that stuff, but Java has been proven over time. It's stable, scalable, and has a very large ecosystem with lots of big tech and big companies using it, and they're not going to switch anytime soon. So that is why Java matters. So yes, learn all the new frameworks if you want, have fun, but start by learning the fundamentals in a stable, long-lasting language. I promise it will give you more opportunities. This course has 4.6 stars and over 300,000 students for complete beginners and only 6 months at 10 hours a week. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. Actually, let's bring it down to an 8 because I don't like Java as much. And the next one is going to be Python Programming Fundamentals from DataCamp. Wait, again? Am I repeating myself? It sounds like it, but this course is actually different than the other Python course that we covered in the past. So the difference is, instead of focusing on data, it's a pure Python course, only Python. It starts by teaching you Python for developers and then moves on to intermediate Python, building your Python toolbox, giving you a lot of different skills and covering basic topics like data types, lists, dictionaries, tuples, all that stuff basically. Now, this course also focuses on data science, but not as much. And for the final project, you create a function to register app users and catch errors. So it's a very short course, it's only 16 hours. And what I recommend you do is you either start here and then take the data course, or just take the data course because that one contains more projects and more practice, which in the long term is going to be extremely valuable for you. So still, if you just want a quick start, I do think it's a good option. 7.5 out of 10. And next up, we have the IBM AI Developer Professional Certificate. Another 200,000 students are already studying this one, or a lot of them probably quit, as with all online courses. Don't do that. With a 4.6 star rating. We need to check it out. So AI is everywhere right now. I don't need to talk about it. And the problem is how to join the wave and actually make it worthwhile for you and your career instead of just being replaced and trashed away by it. This is how to do it. So this professional certificate contains 10 different courses, but it only takes 6 months at 4 hours per week. So it's not that long actually. And you can learn as quickly or slowly as you want to, or as much as you can handle. It is for complete beginners and designed to give you job-ready AI skills, whatever that means, in 6 months plus practical experience, and also an industry-recognized certification employers are actively seeking. At least that's what IBM claims. Now, what you're gonna learn is, first of all, just an introduction to software, AI, generative AI, but it's also going to teach you a lot of these software engineering and programming fundamentals, just like any other programming software engineering course we mentioned in the past. It's going to focus a little bit on front end and then a lot on Python as well. But it's also going to throw in a lot of AI stuff, so you can learn these fundamental software engineering principles while becoming an expert at using AI, combining the fundamental principles with AI to make everything faster, easier, better, and I guess more fun. I don't know if that's true. And yes, you know, there's one thing that everybody's saying and it sounds cheesy, and it really is, but you're not going to be replaced by AI. You will be replaced by somebody using AI. I guess some people get replaced by AI anyway, but if you are a developer or looking to become one, you should probably hop on and start, integrating these things as soon as possible. And this course is an excellent way to do so. 8.5 out of 10. That's it. Now check out this video for more certifications and courses that are top rated. Everybody loves them, I think, and actively land people jobs. So you should probably check it out. Bye.